Migration, Visas, and the Global Artificial Intelligence Talent Race in 2026. Cutoff date, July 31st, 2026. Introduction. The global race for artificial intelligence talent is no longer only a race between companies. It is also a race between visa systems, universities, labor markets, and cities. Countries compete for the people who build artificial intelligence models, manage data, design computer systems, run research laboratories, and apply artificial intelligence in healthcare, finance, defense, manufacturing, and public services. These workers include data scientists, machine learning engineers, software developers, research scientists, data engineers, statisticians, and artificial intelligence managers. Visa policy affects this labor supply in four ways. It determines who can enter for study. It determines whether graduates can work after finishing school. It determines whether employers can sponsor experienced workers. It determines whether workers can stay, change employers, start companies, or bring their families. The main findings of 2026 is clear. The United States still has the largest and deepest education and research pipeline, but its work visa system is less predictable. Canada has moved from rapid expansion to managed contraction. The United Kingdom is becoming more selective. The European Union has scale but remains divided among national systems. Australia is managing student growth while protecting skilled pathways. The Gulf Cooperation Council is building a different model based on long-term residency, major investment, and regional technology hubs. However, one warning is important. No major country publishes a complete, official count of artificial intelligence workers entering the country. Immigration systems classify people by visa type, occupation, education level, and nationality. They usually do not identify whether a software developer works on artificial intelligence. For that reason, this article uses three measures: student flows, international students, especially those in science, technology, engineering, mathematics, computing, and data-related subjects. Work visa flows, sponsored work visas, temporary work permits, and post-study work permits. Net talent movement, available data on arrivals minus departures, including professional network data from LinkedIn, analyzed by the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. These figures should not be added together. A student visa, a work permit, and a permanent residence grant may describe the same person at different points in time. The global picture in numbers. The following table summarizes the strongest available indicators through July 2026. For the full table, please open this article on can'tfindjob.com. The United States, Canada, the United Kingdom, the European Union, and Australia publish relatively detailed education and immigration statistics. The Gulf states publish important visa rules and economic strategies, but they do not yet provide a comparable regional series showing how many artificial intelligence and data professionals enter, leave, or change employers. How to measure net inflows of artificial intelligence talent. Visa numbers are only a starting point. A country may issue many student visas but retain few graduates. Another country may issue fewer visas but retain a large share of experienced engineers. A better measure is net physical talent inflow equals new workers entering plus graduates changing to work status plus returning workers minus workers leaving. This information is difficult to calculate because visa grants are not the same as arrivals, applications are not the same as approvals, work permits can be renewed, people can hold both study and work permits, dependents may be counted separately, many workers leave without formally canceling a visa. Artificial intelligence is not a standard immigration occupation. Professional network data adds a useful second measure. The Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development and LinkedIn track artificial intelligence talent through professional profiles. A person is counted as artificial intelligence talent when they list at least 2 artificial intelligence engineering skills or have worked in an artificial intelligence occupation. Migration is estimated when a member changes the country listed on their profile. The data is useful, but it is not a census. It depends on LinkedIn coverage and self-reported information. The Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development warns that absolute flows are difficult to compare across countries, so it normalizes movements by the number of LinkedIn members in each country. Globally, about 7 out of every 1,000 LinkedIn members were classified as artificial intelligence engineering talent in 2024, a rise of about 130% from 2016. This shows why even small changes in migration policy can matter. The specialist pool is still small compared with total employment. United States, the largest pipeline, but a less certain bridge to work. Student flows remain the strongest advantage. The United States hosted 1,177,766 international students during the 2024-2025 academic year. This included 488,481 graduate students and 294,253 people on optional practical training, a work authorization route linked to a completed or ongoing academic program. More than half of international students studied science, technology, engineering, and mathematics fields. The United States also had about 463,000 international students enrolled in science and engineering programs in fall 2025, excluding people already on optional practical training. This was a 9% decline from the previous year. International master's enrollment fell by nearly one quarter, while students from India and China together accounted for 71% of international science and engineering master's enrollment and 44% of doctoral enrollment. The Student and Exchange Visitor Information System reported 165,524 foreign students participating in the science, technology, engineering, and mathematics extension of optional practical training in 2024. India accounted for 48% of these participants, and China accounted for 20.4%. This makes the United States unusually strong at converting education into early career artificial intelligence labor. Universities train the workers, laboratories provide research experience, and employers can hire graduates before they become permanent residents. H-1B selection remains a major bottleneck. The main bridge from post-study work to longer-term employment is often the H-1B specialty occupation visa. For fiscal year 2025, the United States Citizenship and Immigration Services received 470,342 H-1B registrations and selected 114,017 beneficiaries. For fiscal year 2024, registrations reached 780,884, followed by a larger number of selections after additional selection rounds. These figures describe registrations and selections, not completed arrivals or final artificial intelligence hires. This creates a difficult employer decision. A company may invest in a foreign graduate through an internship or optional practical training, but the company cannot be sure that the worker will receive the next work visa. The result is a split system: excellent entry through university and optional practical training, strong research and company demand, less predictable long-term retention. Greater pressure to use Canada, the United Kingdom, Europe, India, or the United Arab Emirates as alternative locations. Net inflow assessment: the United States probably remains a net importer of advanced artificial intelligence talent, especially through universities, research laboratories, and large technology companies. Yet the country does not publish a single official figure for net artificial intelligence migration. The larger risk is not that the United States suddenly loses its talent advantage. The risk is that some graduates, researchers, and startup founders will choose another country before they enter the United States or after they finish a degree. Canada. From rapid expansion to controlled retention, student inflows have fallen sharply. Canada's international student system expanded quickly after the pandemic. By 2024 and 2025, housing pressure and public concern led to lower targets, an application cap, tighter rules for private colleges, and limits on work permits for family members. Canada recorded 292,915 new study permit arrivals in 2024, 115,060 in 2025, 19,425 from January to May 2026. The number of people holding a study permit fell to 632,850 on May 31, 2026, compared with more than 1 million during parts of 2024. Canada also had 1,561,465 people holding only a work permit on that date. The 2026 figures are only available for the first 5 months of the year, but they show that the student pipeline is much smaller than it was in 2024. The post-study bridge is still important. Canada issued 203,363 post-graduation work permits in 2024, down from 240,561 in 2023. The post-graduation work permit has has been one of Canada's most important tools for retaining international graduates in software, engineering, data, healthcare, and other skilled fields. Canada has also tightened eligibility for some post-graduation work permits, access to spouse work permits, student permit volumes, rules for private education providers, pathways from temporary residence to permanent residence. The government has said that these measures are intended to reduce pressure on housing and public services while better matching immigration with labor market needs. Net inflow assessment. Canada's stock of skilled foreign workers remains large, but the direction of new inflows changed between 2024 and 2026. The country is moving from high-volume student recruitment toward lower-volume, more selective recruitment with greater emphasis on skilled work and permanent residence. This could improve the quality of the system, but it also reduces Canada's supply of new artificial intelligence graduates. Employers may respond by hiring more workers already in Canada, opening offices abroad, or using remote teams in India, Eastern Europe, Latin America, and the United States. United Kingdom, selective growth and a narrower study-to-work channel. Study and work grants have declined. In the year ending March 2026, the United Kingdom granted 410,000 sponsored study visas, 392,000 study visas to main applicants, 18,000 study visas to dependents, 253,000 work visas across all work categories, 111,000 skilled worker visas. The number of study visa grants was 3% lower than the previous year and 37% below the peak reached in the year ending June 2023. The fall in skilled worker visas was heavily influenced by the collapse in care worker recruitment, so it should not be read as a direct measure of artificial intelligence hiring. More recent application data showed further weakness. In the year ending June 2026, the United Kingdom received 396,000 sponsored study visa applications from main applicants, down 8%. 30,400 skilled worker visa applications from main applicants, down 39%. 20,400 applications from student dependents, still far below the level before restrictions introduced in January 2024. The full quarterly statistics for the year ending June 2026 were scheduled for release after July 31, 2026. Therefore, the March 2026 grant data is the latest complete official series available within this article's cutoff. Artificial intelligence remains a stated priority. The United Kingdom's artificial intelligence policy recognizes several routes for international graduates and experienced workers, including the skilled worker visa, the graduate route, the global talent visa, the high potential individual route, the innovator founder route. The government's artificial intelligence action plan specifically identifies immigration routes as part of the effort to attract graduates from leading artificial intelligence universities and to bring exceptional researchers and company founders to the United Kingdom. The 2025 Artificial Intelligence Labor Market Survey also identified visa barriers as one of the problems faced by organizations trying to hire artificial intelligence workers. The United Kingdom remains attractive because of its English language labor market, major universities, financial services, research institutions, a large technology sector, links to North America, Europe, India, and the Middle East. But the country is becoming more selective. Higher salary rules, tighter student-dependent rules, and stronger English language requirements may reduce broad-based inflows while preserving access for senior researchers and highly paid engineers. The United Kingdom is therefore shifting from a high-volume migration model to a high-skill, high-salary model. Europe has a large technology workforce. The European Union had more than 10 million information and communication technology specialists in 2024, equal to about 5% of total employment. Women represented only 19.5% of these workers, showing that Europe faces both a foreign talent challenge and a domestic gender gap. In 2023, 1.76 million students from abroad were studying in European Union tertiary education. Foreign students made up 8.4% of all tertiary students, although the share varied greatly by country. The European Union Blue Card is growing but concentrated. European Union countries issued 78,096 European Union Blue Cards in 2024 to highly qualified non-European Union workers. The system is highly concentrated, Germany issued 56,252, or 72% of all cards. Poland issued 5,853. Hungary issued 2,942. France issued 2,775. Indian citizens received 16,268 cards, or 20.8% of the total. This shows both the strength and weakness of the European model. The European Union has a large labor market, but workers do not enter through one unified immigration system. Each country controls much of its own work permit process, salary rules, language requirements, and permanent residence pathway. Study-to-work rules are reasonably supportive. Under the European Union Students and Researchers Directive, international students and researchers must be allowed to remain for at least 9 months after completing their studies or research to seek employment or start a business, subject to national conditions. Some countries offer longer periods. This is important for artificial intelligence graduates. A student does not need to have a job on the day their degree ends. The graduate can use a job search period to move from university research into a company, laboratory, or startup. A new European Union talent platform. The European Union Talent Pool Regulation entered into force on June 1, 2026. The platform is being developed to connect employers in participating member states with job seekers outside Europe who have skills linked to labor shortages, including digital and technology occupations. Participation by member states is voluntary. The regulation also contains important ethical safeguards. Employers and other participating entities may not charge job seekers recruitment fees or hidden costs. The updated single permit rules also strengthen information rights, employer change rights, and protection against exploitation. Net inflow assessment. Europe's net artificial intelligence inflow is positive in some countries and negative in others. Germany is the clearest high-volume destination because it issues most European Union blue cards. Luxembourg, Ireland, and Germany were among the European economies that attracted more artificial intelligence talent than they lost in 2024 in Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development data. The main European challenge is not a lack of talent routes, it is fragmentation. A worker may find Europe attractive, but still choose the country with the fastest permit, clearest salary rule, best research funding, and easiest permanent residence pathway. Australia. Manage student growth and targeted skilled migration. Student numbers have started to moderate. Australia recorded 680,582 international students in the first 5 months of 2026, down 6.9% from the same period in 2025. New students fell 6% to 91,468, while international student enrollments fell 8% to 752,784. Higher education enrollments still grew by 2%, while some other sectors fell more sharply. Information technology remained one of the most popular fields in higher education. Australia set a national planning level of 295,000 new overseas student commencements for 2026. This is a managed growth system in which provider allocations influence visa processing priority. The 2025 planning level was 270,000. Skilled employer sponsorship remains useful for technology. Australia's Skills and Demand Visa requires employer sponsorship and allows workers to remain for between 1 and 4 years, depending on the stream. The temporary graduate visa provides a post-study route, while permanent options include the employer nomination scheme. Through December 31, 2025, Australia granted 1,387 skills in demand or temporary skill shortage visas to software and application programmers, equal to 4.6% of the program total at that point. Professionals accounted for 14,050 primary grants, or 40.9% of the program. For 2026-2027, Australia set its permanent migration program at 185,000 places, including 132,240 skilled places and 58,040 employer-sponsored places. The talent and innovation category was set at 3,500 places. Net inflow assessment. Australia is deliberately reducing uncontrolled volume while keeping skilled routes open. Its model is fewer or more carefully managed student commencements, stronger provider monitoring, continued demand-driven temporary skilled visas, a permanent migration program focused on workers already contributing onshore, targeted recruitment in information technology, engineering, science, healthcare, construction, and education. Australia is likely to remain a medium-sized, but credible destination for artificial intelligence workers, especially those who complete an Australian degree or arrive through employer sponsorship. Gulf Cooperation Council, attracting senior talent without publishing comparable flow data. The Gulf Cooperation Council is building a different migration model. Rather than relying mainly on large graduate populations, its strongest strategy is to attract senior engineers, researchers, founders, investors, executives, artificial intelligence specialists, workers connected to large government technology projects. United Arab Emirates. The United Arab Emirates offers 5- and 10-year golden residency permits to selected investors, entrepreneurs, scientists, skilled professionals, outstanding students, and specialized technology talent. Federal guidance specifically identifies people with specialized degrees in artificial intelligence and big data, as well as computer engineering, programming, electronics, and related fields. The golden residency can allow eligible residents to live, work, and study without a traditional local sponsor. Dubai also has a 10-year golden residence route for digital technology talent. Applicants need a nomination from the Emirates Council for Artificial Intelligence and Digital Transactions. This gives the United Arab Emirates an important advantage for globally mobile specialists who want flexibility between employers, consulting work, startups, and investment. Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia's premium residency program is aimed at attracting and retaining talented professionals, investors, entrepreneurs, and executives. Benefits can include family residency, business ownership, real estate ownership, and the ability to move between entities without transfer fees. A special talent residency product targets scientists, health professionals, researchers, and senior executives. Saudi Arabia's artificial intelligence demand is closely linked to government-backed technology, data, smart city, finance, defense, and infrastructure programs. Its main challenge is creating a stable, attractive long-term environment for workers who may otherwise choose the United States, Europe, Canada, or the United Arab Emirates. Qatar. Qatar's 2024-2030 workforce strategy seeks to increase national workforce participation while attracting highly skilled foreign talent. Its digital agenda has also identified the need for a fast-track visa aimed at highly skilled digital professionals. Net inflow assessment. The Gulf states do not publish a common, artificial intelligence-specific dataset showing student arrivals, sponsored artificial intelligence workers, employer changes, departures, transitions to permanent residence. Therefore, the Gulf Cooperation Council cannot be ranked directly against the United States or European Union using official net inflow data. Its likely model is hub-and-spoke talent mobility. Senior researchers and executives relocate to Gulf hubs. Firms establish laboratories, headquarters, or regional offices. Delivery and engineering work is distributed across India, Europe, Africa, and Asia. Long-term residency is offered to the most valuable workers. National workforce programs train citizens for more roles over time. The International Monetary Fund has identified reforms across the Gulf involving job mobility, investor residency, long-term visas, and employment transfer rules. These reforms are designed to reduce dependence on older employer sponsorship systems while still protecting national employment goals. Remote first hiring and satellite offices as substitutes for relocation. Visa policy matters less when the job moves instead of the worker. 3 alternatives to relocation. For the full table, please open this article on can'tfindjob.com. International mobility surveys show that companies are actively reconsidering traditional relocation. Mercer reported that international remote work was growing in importance for about 1/3 of surveyed organizations, while 10% described it as a major or burning issue. The same survey found that 67% viewed a review of mobility policy as a medium or high priority. Remote work also makes emerging technology locations more viable. The 2025 Global Tech Talent Guidebook from CBRE noted that remote work has helped emerging markets participate in global technology teams and identified the United States and India as having the largest artificial intelligence development workforces in its LinkedIn-based estimates. These estimates are useful for strategy, but they are not government headcounts. What relocation still does better? Remote work to not fully replace physical movement for frontier research laboratories, high-security computing, defense and national security projects, hardware and robotics, leadership teams, university research partnerships, company formation, informal learning, and trust building. The likely 2026 model is therefore not remote work instead of migration. It is relocate the small number of workers who need to be together and hire the wider talent pool wherever qualified workers already live. Satellite offices can reduce visa pressure. A company that cannot bring 100 engineers to the United States may instead relocate 10 senior researchers, hire 40 local engineers in Canada or Europe, establish a data and testing center in India, use a regional office in the United Arab Emirates, employ remote specialists through a local legal entity. This expands the company's labor supply without creating 100 new immigration cases. However, satellite offices do not create a full substitute for talent attraction. They can reduce the number of people who move, but they may also move high-value jobs away from the country that wants to build its own artificial intelligence ecosystem. Ethical recruitment and brain circulation. Ethical recruitment, artificial intelligence hiring can create new forms of exploitation, especially in data labeling, content moderation, remote contracting, artificial intelligence testing, low-paid model evaluation, migration-linked recruitment. A fair recruitment system should include no worker-paid recruitment fees, clear written contracts, transparent salary and working hours, no passport retention, freedom to change employers under reasonable conditions, access to complaint and legal systems, recognition of foreign degrees and work experience, equal pay for equal work, family and health protections, investment in training workers in the source country. The International Labour Organization's Fair Recruitment Framework provides a useful baseline. The European Union talent pool rules are especially clear. Participating employers cannot charge job seekers recruitment fees or hidden costs. Employers should also avoid using immigration status to force workers to accept unsane conditions or unpaid overtime. A visa tied too tightly to one employer can create a power imbalance. Brain drain versus brain circulation. Brain drain means the loss of educated and skilled workers from a country. Brain circulation is broader. It includes workers leaving and later returning, researchers working with home country universities, founders investing back home, professionals mentoring remote teams, workers creating companies that employ people in their country of origin, international research partnerships, remote employment that brings foreign income without permanent departure. The Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development tracks research and innovation talent circulation through changes in scientific affiliations and other mobility measures. LinkedIn data provides another way to observe location changes among artificial intelligence workers. Countries should therefore measure more than how many workers leave. They should also measure overseas research partnerships, return migration, startup investment, patents and publications, remote jobs created in the source country, professional training delivered from abroad, diaspora investment. A country can lose some workers and still gain knowledge, money, companies, and international connections. Study to work pathways, what good policy looks like. The strongest migration system shares several features. United States, international students can move from an F1 student visa into curricular practical training or optional practical training. Eligible science, technology, engineering, and mathematics graduates may receive an extension, but many still need a later employer-sponsored visa. Strength: large universities, research, and company demand. Weakness: uncertainty after post-study work. Canada students can move from a study permit to a post-graduation work permit and later seek employer-supported or permanent residence pathways. Recent reforms make this path more selective and more closely tied to fields and labor market needs. Strength: clear retention tradition. Weakness: lower student volumes and changing rules. United Kingdom, students may use the graduate route and later move into the skilled worker, global talent, high potential individual, or innovator founder routes. The government specifically lists these routes as options for talented artificial intelligence graduates and founders. Strength: English language market and research links. Weakness: rising salary and language requirements. European Union. The European Union provides a minimum 9-month job search period after study or research, but the final work and residence pathway depends on the member state. Strength: large education and labor market. Weakness: national fragmentation. Australia, students can use the temporary graduate visa, then move to employer-sponsored skills and demand visas, or permanent employer-sponsored routes. Australia is also managing new student commencements through provider allocations. Strength: clear study-to-work structure. Weakness: controlled student volumes and high living costs. Gulf Cooperation Council. The Gulf model is less dependent on a large student-to-work pipeline. It focuses more on recruiting experienced professionals, founders, researchers, and executives through long-term residency and employer-linked work routes. Strength: fast-growing projects, tax advantages in some locations, and flexible long-term residency for selected workers. Weakness: limited public data, nationalization policies, and less predictable pathways for ordinary early career workers. Actionable advice for governments and employers. For governments, publish artificial intelligence and data occupation categories in visa statistics. Track the full path from student entry to work permit, permanent residence, and departure. Make post-study work rights clear before students enroll. Allow skilled graduates enough time to find a job. Reduce unnecessary employer lock-in. Protect workers from recruitment fees and contract substitution. Support domestic training so migration adds to, rather than replaces, local skill development. Create programs that turn brain drain into brain circulation. Publish remote work and satellite office data where possible. For employers, use a two-part hiring strategy. Relocate essential senior talent and hire broader teams locally or remotely. Tell candidates clearly whether visa sponsorship is available. Do not make workers pay recruitment or immigration costs that should be paid by the employer. Recruit international students before graduation. Build relationships with universities and research institutes. Create legal systems for remote cross-border employment rather than relying on informal arrangements. Offer workers a clear path to promotion, permanent residence, and employer change. Measure retention, not just visa approvals. For students and professionals, check the post-study work rules before choosing a country. Confirm whether your degree field qualifies for a work extension. Compare the chance of long-term employment, not only university rankings. Ask employers whether they sponsor work visas and permanent residence. Keep records of qualifications, publications, patents, and work experience. Consider countries with more than one pathway, such as study, skilled work, exceptional talent, and startup routes. Treat remote work and satellite offices as real alternatives when relocation is delayed. Conclusion: by July 2026, the global artificial intelligence talent race had become a competition between scale, predictability, flexibility, and trust. The United States leads in university scale, research, and company demand, but its transition from study to long-term work is uncertain. Canada still has a large skilled worker base, but its student and post-study system is shrinking. The United Kingdom remains attractive for high-value talent while reducing broad migration. The European Union has enormous education and labor market scale, but talent is drawn unevenly toward countries such as Germany. Australia is managing student growth while maintaining skilled migration pathways. The Gulf Cooperation Council is developing a hub model that targets experienced talent, founders, investors, and major technology projects. The most successful countries will not simply issue the most visas. They will make it easy for qualified people to study, work, change employers, start companies, bring families, return home, work remotely, and contribute across borders. In 2026, the winning talent system is not only the one that moves people, it is the one that makes talent productive wherever people live. All links to sources are available in the text version of this article. You can find the full article at can'tfindjob.com/blog. Thanks for listening. If today's episode hit close to home, stop scrolling job boards that weren't built for this new reality. Check out Claw Earn on AIagentstore.ai, the first jobs marketplace designed for both humans and AI agents, so you can start earning no matter which side of the AI revolution you're on.